A generation to generation Cowboys and sports talk. My dad, my partner, my co-host, Cowboy Joe 64.
I am your father.
Just to get the Cowboys 2 good games to hopefully understand that they need to go receiver and go high with this next pick.
Yeah, that's really what this is gonna be about.
All right, you're looking live at Father and Son Cowboys and Sports Talks. I'm the host, Jules, aka DJ. I tell you what, and I'm joined with my co-host, my dad, Cowboy Joe, and also known as Cowboy Joe 64 on Twitter. And we are back with another one. Is my audio coming out clear? Because my headphone just died, so I'm gonna have to get that while you introduce yourself to everyone and kind of just talk about what we're gonna talk about today.
All right, appreciate you guys joining our show. We wanted to get some content out, and we're just going to talk about Pickens and how things are looking with the contract, with the agent, and with Jerry Jones, and get into the draft a little bit and kind of look at how that's going. Check in on Tankathon, just see how things are looking. Draft wise, the combine is coming up, so we'll be looking at who we gonna draft and how things are looking with Pickens. So we're gonna find out on probably the next few days if they do the franchise tag, and we'll kind of know where things are. A lot of different rumors out there, so we just kind of.
So one of the things that I named.
I can't see you.
You can't see me?
Yeah, it's just your photo. You're not. There you go.
Okay, so one of the things that I wanted to ask is so now I got the key dates of the off season on the thumbnail, but what I was going to ask you is, what is more likely? What do you think is? We know what they can do. They can tag him. They can sign him. They can sign Williams, the running back. They can do all of these things, and then I'm gonna talk about what I wanted to say afterwards. But what do you think is the most likely scenario, and what can Cowboy Nation look forward to? If we were being realistic, what can we look forward to?
So I'm gonna be the hopium person. I think they're gonna get it done. They may have to use the franchise tag as a placeholder, but I just think they're going to get it done. And the reason is, I don't think George Pickens is going to draw a line on the amount. So he's not going to come in and ask for 40, 41 or a number like that. If they can just get to 35, 34, I think he's going to be good with it because he likes it here. He likes Dak. He likes the way the offense is being put together. He knows he's one of the key parts of it. And I just think he, has bought in. So that's just kind of my feeling. I just think they're going to get it done. So, but, we thought the same thing about Micah. And, but I just got a feeling that they're going to get it done. I don't think it's going to be an issue between Jerry and David Mulugeta. I just think they're going to get it figured out and get it done. That's kind of what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, I kind of share the same sentiment. I think that's what's going to happen. I think that he'll get paid just as much as CD, a little bit more, probably, and that's probably be what'll happen. I think CD is that 30 something, right, or is he at 40?
I think CD. You can look it up. I think he's at 34.
So I think.
Or 34 or 35. So
he'll get paid right around in that area, and they'll work out something. I don't think it'll be like a super long term deal, but I think it'll be like, like maybe a couple years, something like that, 3 years, maybe something like that, and they'll get it done. And I just think that it's just too much. It's too much, and the players are being too vocal about what they would like to happen and what has to happen, and it's just like, what kind of owner and what kind of front office would you be if your players are out here campaigning for someone like they never done before, and then you drop the ball and don't get it done. And so it's just like, that wouldn't send a good message to the team. And really, it would go against everything that you've been talking about and saying also. But what I wanted to say is that, we knew this was going to happen, just like we knew this was going to happen with Micah. We knew that the storylines was going to be Micah getting tagged. We knew about that. We knew about there was going to be contract all the way up until the end of training camp. We knew that. But my thing is, I hate the narrative that you have to. I mean, like, I really can't listen to. I really just been listening to turning people off, because it's just like, I hate the narrative that they bring with signing George Pickens. Like, you can either sign George Pickens or you can address the defense, or like, you know what I mean, or you can trade him to stockpile, to get things, to get ammunition to fix the defense. And it's just like, that's not how other NFL teams operate. That shouldn't be attached with each other. I don't like the narrative. Oh, or you gotta either pay Pickens or you're gonna fix the defense. This is one player we're talking about, so it's not like you can't do both. And you should be doing one regardless. You should be fixing the defense regardless. You're gonna have to fix the defense regardless if you have any hopes of winning. So, what's the point of pushing the narrative? Is George Pickens or the fix the defense? It should be both. You can do both. You can do both. Other teams do both. Tyreek Hill got released, and so there's this narrative going around. Well, maybe they could trade George Pickens, and maybe they could bring in Tyreek Hill. And it's just like, okay, well, a team like the Eagles, what the Eagles would do is the Eagles would sign George Pickens and bring Tyreek Hill in. That's how you do that. And it's just like that, and they would make it work. And it's just like, because every other team would make it work. That's why I named the show, What Can They Do versus What Will They Do? Because there is no scenario where they can't pay George Pickens and have a complete overhaul on the defense. They can do both of those things, and they can do both of those things and still have tons of money left to operate. I mean, I seen an article today that said that the Eagles have $200,000 in contract restructures, and the Cowboys have the most. They have like $100 million. They can free up like $130 million. Like, say it's either $100 million or $130 million with restructuring contract. So it's just like, if you mean to tell me that you can restructure, what's the point of having $130 million in restructures if you're not gonna use it to sign players like Pickens, Williams, and have a complete overhaul on your defense via the draft and free agency? I don't think that there should be a one or the other. It should be both.
Yeah, so I think a lot of it is just kind of like,
else, what's going on?
Turn the music down just a little.
All right.
Okay, but so I think a lot of it is just Stockholm syndrome, where Cowboy fans over the last 30 years have been basically told we can't do anything, and we can't, manage the cap better. We can't, all of these things the Cowboys have not been able to do. That's just the front office. So Cowboy fans right now, they're just looking at this like we can't have both. But again, that's just the way the front office has done things. So this should be the year where they, step outside the box and just do things a little different and try to do both. But
and Kels, what I meant by that was like, not that he was a tag prospect. What I meant by that was like, we knew that it was going to be like a media frenzy. We knew that the storyline of the offseason was going to be Micah and Micah's contract. We knew that. And it's just like we knew this year that the storyline of this offseason is going to be George Pickens and George Pickens' contract. And hopefully, I'm thinking that, because, they are, like I said, I always say this: when the Cowboys do good things happen. And when they do bad things happen. It's really not like a Rubik's Cube or anything. We knew that hiring Schottenheimer, history says that when Schottenheimer that when Schotty was running the offense, they were doing great. I mean, they were doing well. I mean, the Cowboys have really haven't had a bad offense. Even with Kellen Moore, they didn't have a bad offense. They just had situational issues when it came to Kellen. But Shotty has more of a handle on that. But we knew that Shotty running the offense was going to do good. Was going to be good for the offense. We knew that. We knew that when we traded for George Pickens that was going to be a plus. We knew that. We didn't know that it was going to have the effect that it did, but we knew that. Just like we knew that when we signed George Pickens that he was going to have a good year and he was going to have a contract that come up and we was going to have to pay him. And we knew that. It's just like we knew that when Eberflus got fired from Chicago, that he was one of Jerry's and Steven's friends and guys, because he's been a part of the Cowboys. He started off here. We knew that. We knew that he was a Cowboys coach in the past, and we knew that he was going to be likely end up here. And we knew that wasn't going to be a good thing, and it wasn't. So it's just like, we kind of knew that. Just like when they hiring Christian Parker, we kind of know that this is kind of a good thing here. We knew that, all Cowboys fans, and like my dad had been saying all offseason, we need somebody young, innovative, one of these guys that got some energy that can relate to the players. That's exactly what Christian Parker is, and that's exactly the kind of staff that he hired. So we can't say that they're not doing progressive things, because they are. They just got to finish the job. It's just like, Jerry last year, they did great things in the offseason, but they got to the finish line and fumbled. You know what I mean? And so they just got to do the same thing this year, but don't fumble. They gotta sign George Pickens. They gotta figure out the running back situation. I mean, it can't be no like we gonna not sign we gonna not sign Williams because we gonna take a fly on Nick Chubb and the running backs that we got in the already on the practice squad, Malik and them, and we can't be doing that. We got to have a for sure hitter at running back. That position needs to be sold up. It needs to be like, no, we got Williams done. If we didn't get Williams done, we got the top running back free agent. That's who we got. We got somebody that we know from day one. That's the starter. They toting the rock, because our offensive line. I mean, I don't know if you want to give our running success, because Shotty said that he was gonna come in and he was gonna run the ball. And then, another perfect example. You got Clayton Adams. We knew when we looked at Clayton Adams' history, we knew that when he was in Arizona, they had one of the best rushing attacks. He was a sought after coach because he was that effective in the run game. We knew that. Now, I don't know. Now, we did not know that Javonte Williams was going to be as good as he was. We didn't, because we didn't see him playing at all in training camp, because he just didn't play it. He didn't play at all in preseason and in training camp either. So we didn't know that. They had Miles Sanders out there. We was thinking like, oh man, we got a problem on our hands. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know what we gonna do. But this is what happens. And so the combination of him, Clayton Adams, we knew that Clayton Adams was gonna come in and do something great in the run game. And that's what happened. He did that, and we had low key one of the best running games that we've had in years. He ended up, Williams ended up, being, I think it was like he was in a top tier for rushing. You know what I'm saying? So we have a good rushing attack. I don't know if you want to put that on Clayton Adams, put that on the line, put that on Javonte, but whatever it is, we need to sustain that going into next year. So we can't have no pity pat running back by committee. They got enough money to sign Williams, and they need to. That's what needs to happen. You can do both. There shouldn't be a situation where we saying to ourselves, they gotta pay Pickens or they gotta sign Javonte, or they gotta pay Pickens and sign Javonte and or do the defense. They got enough money to do all of those things. And that's what we should see. We should see those things. And then another thing I want to see too is I want to see these things happening. We don't need no long, drawn out contract negotiation. We don't need that. let's just get it done now and go ahead and move on to something else. That's what I would like to see. What about you?
I agree. I think you can get him signed and get the defense stacked. Also my green screen went out, so I'm just gonna roll with it. And but yeah, this is what they need to do in this offseason. Get Pickens signed. Be one of the teams in free agency that's out there on the first, second day signing players, and then have a good draft. And so what they've done over the years, the reason they haven't had playoff success is because each one of the boxes that we're talking about, they just check two of them off and they leave one uncovered. That's what they do. Free agency is just not a box that they've been checking for the last 30 years. They just don't really do a whole lot. They did the year they signed Brandon Cooks and what's his name, the corner, his name escapes me at the moment. They brought those guys in, but that wasn't like the top tier of free agents. So that's what they're going to have to do. And the Seahawks, the Patriots, again, they can just look at what they've done, and they'll be a good. They can just see, what's happening with them and the way they did it, and that should be, their benchmark. So, yeah, let's get Pickens signed, and then let's get some of these free agents, top quality free agents, and then with the draft. So, on Tankathon, let's take a look at that, like just to kind of see what's happening there.
Okay, and then yeah, I mean, they should do those things. And then what I like about what I'm seeing is it's more influence coming from other directions than normal. Normally we can pretty much see where the influence is coming from. It's really coming from a few people, but it seems like over the last couple of years there's been some more influence, like the George Pickens deal. That wasn't something that we would normally see done. You know what I mean? But they did that, which blew our minds. You know what I'm saying? So
Because Shotty had a lot to do with it.
exactly, that's what I was trying to say without saying it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I feel like they're gonna have a lot of influence from Shotty this offseason, and they're gonna have a lot of influence from Christian Parker this offseason. Well, now y'all remember Christian Parker's press conference is tomorrow.
Oh, it is tomorrow. I was going to ask you, why haven't they had the press conference? So it is tomorrow.
It's tomorrow. So
Okay, so yeah,
we're gonna have a lot of things to analyze and a lot of things to discuss.
And just to refresh on that, I hope Jerry lets him have his day. Don't get up there in front of his family and do your thing that you normally do. I just wonder, are people at the start just talking to Jerry and just giving him, good advice? So don't get up there and just talk about you for an hour, and then talk about how it was a risk hiring him, and we don't want to hear that. Just let the guy have his day. Let Shotty and Christian Parker, for the most part, dominate the press conference, introduce them, and then just step back and let them do their thing. It's a lot of questions that need to be asked. And I just think the best person to answer those questions is Shotty and Christian Parker. Jerry doesn't really need to say a whole lot. So if we want to get a peek into what the offseason could be, if tomorrow he just sort of let them have their day, that's a good sign for what's happening in the offseason. But if he gets up there and does his normal thing, I thought he was absolutely terrible at Shotty's press conference when Shotty got hired. That was so jacked up the way Jerry carried himself in that press conference. And the one they did a few weeks ago was kind of the same thing. He told
it's gonna be the same way.
So you thinking Jerry just gonna be the normal Jerry?
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah. Kels just said, just send it to you. This is what Kels said. Now I love doing these shows when Kels is on here because it just changes.
I watched your show Sunday night, Kels. It was really good, so I did tune in, and it was through Facebook, was kind of confusing me because I'm not like a real Facebook guy. But yeah, I listened to your show Sunday night. Great job. So what did she say?
She said Shotty will be introducing CP.
Okay. All right.
And she said
And
I sent it to Big Time and told him to send it to you.
yeah. So hopefully, yeah, Shadi and CP get to kind of do their thing and we get to learn. I want to hear more about the coaches that he's hired, why he hired them. And I know he's not going to give up a whole lot of information on his scheme because coaches always try to protect that, but just have some idea, what he's going to run. And that way we can really focus in on like what kind of players could be drafted. But yeah, it's going to be just cool seeing him up there with his family, and we'll have a lot to talk about tomorrow after that.
And shout out to Uncle Squeak. He said the offense was not explosive to me after the Eagles and Chiefs games. Is that a concern? And
Uh,
so I want to respond to that. And then Kale said she did a show a few minutes ago. So we're gonna check that out when we get off, Kales. And I need to get the link to Kale's channel so I can post it in here. But let me so the offense to me, I hear what you're saying about the offense not being explosive after the Chiefs game. And okay, we got okay. And so my whole thing is this. After the Chiefs game, Shotty had, I think it was the game right after that. Whatever game it was.
the Detroit game was the next game.
So the Detroit game was the next game. I mean, I think we got behind the 8 ball in that game. Well, first of all, what you're gonna hear consistently and constantly, and what I learned this year too. Like it's just so crazy that I'm 36 and I've been a football head for my whole life pretty much, and I'm still learning intricate things about football. About every year, I'm learning something different. Whether it's about coaching, whether it's about schemes, styles, player. I just learned, and then with my son playing football too, it's a whole aerial view of how things operate. And one thing I learned this past year was your defense. The way your defense plays definitely has an impact on how your offense plays. It has an impact on the offensive game plan. It has an impact on everything. I mean, it's just like if your defense is the last defense in the league, your offense can't never get into a rhythm. They can't never really do what they want to do. I mean, every game is just like you breaking glass every game. You breaking the glass every game. You really can't get into a play call on rhythm as a play caller on offense. Unless to give you a good example, you remember how 2 years ago, the Cowboys, what they was doing was they was blowing teams out the water and they was just Cadillacing in the fourth quarter. Remember that? How they would just go up 30-something to 40-something on a team and they would just chill out.
That's what we did in the 90s.
You know what I'm saying? That's what they was doing because the defense was so good, to be honest. Remember, we led the league in turnovers. Remember, we led the league in pressures and rushes and all of that. The defense was so good that it was just like, once you get a couple of turnovers here and there, and once you sack a quarterback, on multiple downs, the game changes. These other quarterbacks, they can't do nothing. The offense can't do nothing but back up and throw the ball. So, and when they back up and throw the ball, and you got your defense in a zone with cover corners that got hands like wide receivers, there's nothing you can do about that. But the problem comes when that team right there gets behind. When that team gets behind, it's an issue because then you got, when they be like the Cowboys being in the shootout, the Cowboys are never in shootouts. That never happens. But it happened this year. Why?
That's what Detroit was. It was a shootout.
Right. It happened this year. You know why? Because our defense was horrible. That's why. Because we would go down and score, and then in order to keep us in the game, we have to have explosive plays. You know how they say the games are won off explosive plays? But when you look at the explosive plays, teams are like 2 or 3, maybe 1 or 2 explosive plays a game wins you the ball game. If you got 1 explosive play, that can win you the ball game. If you got 2 or 3 explosive plays, that'll win you the ball game. But for the Cowboys this last year, we had to have 7 explosive plays to win the ball game. We would have to have 6 to win the ball game because the other team was able to just line up and just, dominate on the offensive side of the ball. So what would you want to say?
So what I talked about on our Cowboy OG podcast, I believe, 17 game season. I believe after game 8 or 9, when you were halfway through, if they had just turned everything over to White Cotton, I think we would have had a shot at the playoffs. That Detroit game was kind of the turning point of our season because it was a shootout. And if you remember, Lamb got hurt.
Yeah.
And we couldn't keep up. But our defense just could not stop them. They went up and down the field unabated. Detroit did. I know at one point we almost got it down to we were on a drive, and if we had scored, I think we would have been ahead. But we didn't score. And then they got the ball back and they put up 14 more points and kind of put the game out of reach. So to answer your Uncle Squeeze question is, our defense got worse after the Kansas City and Philadelphia game from that point on. So in the Kansas City and Philly game, we played pretty good defense.
Yeah, and I think also, I think I want to see that, Kels. And then also, not only did our defense get worse, I want to say that our opponents got tougher, and the opponents that we were playing, they got better. Like,
So
you know what I'm saying? Like when we played Detroit, we hadn't played no offense that good.
So we had Detroit. You remember the Minnesota game was a Brian Flores game. The Chargers game, I'm not real big on saying that players quit. I just never want to say that. But I think what happened after the Detroit game, the players on the defense got so frustrated. They didn't quit, but players know when you don't have a good scheme. Players know when
I'm gonna say that too. Even us as fans, we quit.
Yeah.
We didn't quit, but we was just like, it's not, it wasn't us as once after the Detroit game and our percentages went down, went from like 65 to like 2. It was just like, all right.
The players, they didn't quit on Eberflus. They were just basically like, you ain't really got anything, fam. So if we gonna go out here, we gotta play. We're gonna play as hard as we can. But I just think they were just so out on the coordinator. With White Cotton, I think he would have been able to get whatever they had in the tank. He would have been able to kind of get things going, and more importantly, the players would have wanted to play for him. He was that type of coach that you want to play for, and so it would have made a difference in our season, Keith. But they stayed with Eberflus, and at the end of the day, a terrible hire, and it just really showed the second half of the season. The players they were not really engaged in because first of all, his schemes, everything he did, it was all bad. I was listening to Vach and Brian Brothers today. They're still talking about the Cowboys defense last year and just how we had players that they were really good players, but under Eberflus, everybody just got worse. And so that's what happened there with the season, I think. What did Kel say?
Kel said she had CP chart on what kind of players he's looking for in the 3-4-5-2 base defense and hybrid secondary. I was saying Leofau. Leofau was a prime example of that. Like, he was just he was cool up under Zim's defense, and he just disappeared last year. Like, where he was at.
Yeah, some people are talking about the linebacker from Philly. We liked him when he came out. I'm just losing names here. Senior mama. What's the linebacker? He went to Alabama.
Nakobe Dean.
Nakobe Dean. So my thing is this: with Nakobe Dean,
no,
is Nakobe Dean better than Leofau? I'm not sure. And
about the same, probably.
And he's been hurt a lot, Nakobe Dean. So
see, that's what I be doing. I be snooping on. I watch Phillies channels all day, every day. I watch Phillies channels, and I watch like the Phillies channels, the Browns channels, the Steelers channels. I don't know.
What is Philly saying about Nakobe Dean?
He is trash.
Yeah. Well, he
If they
been
don't
hurt.
want him on their team, and they would love for him to come on our team.
So they got Reed Blankenship. I'm not big on him. So have Philly fans said about him?
Uh,
He's a safety.
yeah, they call him blank. You know what I'm saying? But I haven't heard nothing about them saying nothing about him.
So, guys like that, I always come up with the name Ha Ha Clinton Dix. That's what you're getting with Reed Blankenship if you sign him. But I just don't think he's making us a better team. Is he better than Donovan Wilson in coverage? Yeah, probably.
Well,
Uh,
no. If people sleeping on Donovan Wilson, that ain't right. Donovan Wilson,
well,
if Donovan Wilson is playing the position that he's supposed to play,
yeah.
he is rock solid if he ain't hurt.
So we don't know what's going to happen with him. I think he's an unrestricted free agent, so he's not under contract. So that makes it a lot easier to figure
Well,
out
him and
what we're
CP
doing.
kind of got a relationship too because they play with each other.
I
And
saw that. I've seen that. So yeah, but that's why I
now,
want to
it looks
hear.
like Devin Bush. I keep hearing about that on when legal tampering start on March 9th.
So he's a linebacker
Yeah,
with the Jaguars.
I think he was the Jaguars.
So I like Devin Bush. There's another guy on the Jaguars that's a free agent. So that's going back to your point earlier.
No, Devin Bush is with the he played for the Browns.
He played for the Browns. Okay, I do know. I know Devin Bush. But yeah, if they just do their homework in free agency, they can fix the defense in one off season, man. I'm just not hearing. I'm not gonna be good with just hearing we can't do this, we can't do that. That's what we've been doing for 30 years, Cowboy fans. So now it's time for us to have.
Go
Say
ahead.
what? I said no. It's time for us to have nice things. Just get the job done. Get Pickens signed. Do a good job in free agency, and then in the draft, you cannot draft players like Schoon and Mozzie and Kelvin Joseph and Josh Ball. You just can't. You can't do that.
Like on the Cowboys wire, it says that to Devin Bush, he had his best season to date in 2025. He graded out as an 87.6 overall and had a stellar coverage grade of 80.4. That's what kind of free agent that you want to see them sign.
He's a linebacker.
Yeah.
So Tankathon, I'm just looking at it now. They got us taking Sonny Styles. It's been going back and forth.
That's what if they do that, that's amazing. I would love that. If they do that, I'll be so happy.
The player that I do not want is Falk from Auburn.
Me neither. And I don't want is it Jermod McCoy?
So McCoy is the Tennessee cornerback coming off ACL. Let me see where he's going.
He's going before us to Miami. But I mean, I know we just, unfortunately, we can't. We're in a year where we can't take a guess or a gander on a player like that. But if, like I said, I have not seen a corner cover like him.
You like McCoy a lot.
I mean, his highlight tapes is like it's something like you ain't never seen before. The way that his body move, and that's kind of probably why he tore his ACL. But it's just like, bro, it's like, yo, I ain't never seen nobody cover like that.
Have you watched Delane?
The
corner from LSU.
I have, and to me, he just looked like a typical first round pick, second round pick corner. He looked like Trayvon Diggs coming out. But this guy, Jermod McCoy, he looked different. He looked like somebody that been playing corner their entire life. Like it's nothing.
So if he goes to the combine and does well, they got him going before us on Tankathon. Actually, they got him going one pick before us
to Miami.
So and then Jerry, he's made some comments about Deron Bland. And
I want to show Uncle Squeak this real quick. Look at this. You tell me if you seen somebody like this. I ain't seen nobody like this. This dude can cover, like the way he cover is crazy. It's like he be covering like you be like, I mean, Yeah, it's
But
wild.
he coming out the ACL, so we did that last year with
Look
Savon
at him right here.
Brazil.
Like, look at this. Watch this play. You seen somebody cover like on every play like that to where it's just like he is mirroring this guy? Like, look at this. On every play, it's like this on this highlight. It's like this on every play, to where it's like, look at this play. I mean, he's playing.
He's a good player if he's healthy.
He's playing perfect coverage.
Yeah, it's a highlight film, but
Yeah, it is. But still, the guy from LSU, his highlight film don't look like this.
He's a good player. I mean, if he's not injured, he's probably one of the top 5 players in the draft.
Look at that. I'm just saying. Let's just look at this play one more time. Let's just look at this. Ain't nobody. If you're trying to teach somebody how to play corner, you just need to just pull up a film of him. Look how he mirrored these. Look how he mirrored these guys. It's like it ain't nothing you can do to get past him. And then he come up and hit too. It's like he come up, he hit.
If he has a good combine and he runs, he will not make it to 12.
Nah, ain't no way. Because it's just like, come on, man. You mean
that's why you got to be looking at somebody else. You got to be looking at Delane. I think this year's draft. Remember how Ted was last year? Everybody was pulling for Ted to make it to Dallas. We're seeing the same thing with Caleb Downs, and it's going to be close. I mean, he could get to us at 12, and they got to draft him. Pull up Caleb Downs.
Oh man,
if he gets to 12, you got to take him.
Well, I look at Caleb Downs, man. It's just like he one of them players that you don't want to look at because you get so infatuated with him.
So you asked me a question earlier about Jerry, what he's going to do in the offseason. And so one of the things we've been hearing is that they still don't like the safety position, which is really dumb. You've been doing that for 30 years, and it's dumb. But hopefully Christian Parker can convince them you got to upgrade your safety room. You need to upgrade it with some quality players. You can't just have average players in your safety room or below average.
To me, this is just like you said, but I think it's a little bit more. I think this is this draft's version of Micah Parsons.
Oh, what I was going to ask you too is, would you move up to get him?
Yeah, I would.
Because he changes your defense.
Yeah,
at every level.
I would, no question. I definitely would.
And the Cowboys have had, when they've had success, they've had all pro safeties. And I'm gonna tell you who he reminds me a lot of. To be honest, he reminds me of Darren Woodson.
I mean, the way this dude plays, man, it's just like, you know.
He looked like Darren Woodson. Darren Woodson was just like, it was no part of the field that Darren Woodson couldn't get to.
And this dude right here, we trying to figure out how he got to where he got so fast.
That's how Wilson was. Darren Wilson was covering tight ends. He was covering receivers. And I'm not talking about like just, covering just whatever. No.
Like this play right here is a prime example. He just came out of nowhere.
That's how Darren Wilson played. Man, I'm telling you, he is a Darren Wilson makeover. He's the closest thing you're going to get to that.
Yeah, he look at that. That's you can't coach that. So it's just like, so like this dude right here, I would move up to get him. But the thing about it is, it's another team that's gonna move up to get him, or somebody else is gonna get him. He's not gonna make it. I don't think he's gonna make it past 5 or 6. To be honest,
he's not gonna make it past Washington, and they at 7.
Yeah, you would have to jump Washington to get him.
Yep.
And I would. I mean, Washington will take some more picks.
They're not going to trade with you if they know you're going to get downs. You got to trade with somebody else.
I don't know. I think Washington will. I think they.
I'm hearing that they like Sonny Styles too.
That's what I'm saying. I think they'll trade back with you and pick and take. But they're gonna be. But they're gonna try to take your second first round pick.
Yeah. If I had to give up my second pick to get him, man, I would strongly consider it.
Yeah, I would strongly consider it. I mean, hey, like I said, because you know how I do the draft is I go get players. I don't do all of this. Let's just see who falls and all of this. I do that to a certain extent. But if it's somebody that I know this dude can get me a championship, I'm going to get him. It's no question.
He that kind of player.
Right. It's just like how many teams, if you could do the draft with Micah over, how many teams would just say, I'm drafting. I don't need we don't need an edge.
Let me give you my Darren Wilson story, and which we got to talk about him because he didn't make the Hall of Fame. But how much time? How long we been on?
I'm thinking about. Let's see. 40 minutes.
Huh?
40 minutes.
Okay, so we still can kind of wind it down. I know you got things to do, but check this out. So the Cowboys drafted Darren Wilson. He was a linebacker in college. He was kind of like a hybrid linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
And they drafted him. I need to go back and look it up. I think he was in the second or third round. But so his rookie year, he played on a nickel, and he played good. He just came in, and on that team, you just out there, right?
Yeah.
They got Hall of Fame, all pro players all over the field. So he played, his rookie year, he was in the nickel and dime, just out there kind of doing his thing, wasn't. So year 2, so the Cowboys got an all pro safety in James Washington. And James Washington in both Buffalo games, he was like a difference maker. So Jimmy says to James Washington, before they get to training camp, Darren Wilson is starting this year. And James Washington was not happy. And so Jimmy told him, he said, well, you're not starting, you still going to play, but Wilson is a starter. So I went down to the training camp. They had it in Austin.
Mm-hmm.
So I went down and just watched the training camp, and I was like, we just sitting up in bleachers, like right on the field. And man, they lined up number 1 defense. Darren Wilson was out there. From that practice, what I could see in practice with Darren Wilson was what you're looking at right here. I could just see it. He was just like all over the field. He was he was probably the fastest player on the defense. And so his second year, he started. And then, of course, I told you the story as many times. The Super Bowl, the second one they won against Buffalo, James Washington should have been the MVP of that game.
Yeah, they always say he was co-MVP.
But I said all that to say this, that you draft guys like this, and then you play them, and you just let them just do their thing. You don't draft players and be like, oh, they got 3 or 4 years. Nah, bro. You get drafted, you're gonna play, and then your guys on the team that can play, that may not be starters anymore. If they can play, they gonna play too.
And then what's so crazy about it is this year. I mean, this in this league, these other teams. It's not like if you put your rookie out there, you put them up against a disadvantage because the other teams' rookies be playing and they be balling out.
Yeah, we don't a team that draft players. And we're looking at like they got 3 or 4 years to develop, and stop.
You look at Ibuka, you look at Ted. They came in year 1, they was balling.
Yeah, this is love.
Yeah.
So yeah, they need to draft player or players. They coming in, they're playing. We don't have time to develop people, bro. Like what you're looking at, we don't have time for that.
The developmental thing should only be linemen taken at the end of the first round and then the second and third round. Yeah. Everybody else, they don't need no 2 or 3 years. Now,
what I'm saying is your first, second, third, fourth, whatever you're doing, these guys have to play what the Cowboys have done. And one of the reasons we think your picks take so long to develop, that's what they've done. They've taken players that are just not good, and the excuse is they need to develop. So I was listening to Vach and Brian Broaddus today. So they were talking about Bain. He not gonna get to 12, but let's just say that he does get to 12. So what Vach was saying, we need to have good free agency. We need to sign some edge players, whatever Christian Parker is gonna play. And so Bain is just like Darren Wilson. He's gonna play his first year. Okay, he gonna play. His second year, he needs to be one of the dogs out there. You're not going to take Bain, and we're sitting up here 3 or 4 years later talking about where he still needs time to develop. No, if he's a good player, you're going to draft him. He's going to contribute. Then he's going to be the guy. Now, this guy right here, where they got Love going? What I'm going to do, what me and you going to do, well, if you game with it, I don't want to be looking at guys that's not going to have no chance of getting to us. And Love will not be there at 12.
I don't know. I think he might be. I think this year
they got him going 8.
I think this year we're gonna see what we gonna happen. I think what's gonna happen is about 2 or 3 quarterbacks gonna sneak up there, and I think that when we pick, we're gonna have a pick between like Love, Sonny Styles, Bain, McCoy.
They got Bain going 4th.
I think they gonna all be there. That's
the realistic person that's gonna be there is Sonny Styles.
And they better.
I don't think Downs is gonna make it to us. You're gonna have to go up and get him. So that's kind of the way I think it's gonna fall.
And if if Christian Parker, they say on his defense, you know what I'm saying, that linebacker is that linebacker is very, very, very key. So they take Sonny Styles, that's a home run.
So let's say this as we wind down, we go ahead and wind down. What Christian Parker has to do, and I would love to hear him talk about it tomorrow, he has to tell them you cannot have a good defense and have below average players at linebacker and safety. Nobody wins like that. Nobody does. Mm-hmm. When you look at what Seattle did, one of their linebackers, he's an all-pro. Their safeties are good. The same with the Patriots. The Patriots they've won. Do they have 6? How many do they have?
They got a lot.
They were trying to get 7. You can't point to any Patriots team where they had average to below average linebackers and safeties. It just doesn't exist. They traded for Rodney. Is it Rodney Harrison?
Mm-hmm.
The color commentator now. He played for Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
He had a real bad reputation at San Diego. So he played for the Chargers. He was a good player with the Chargers, had a poor reputation around the league. Bill Belichick said, we don't care nothing about that. And they brought him in. They also had one of the twins. He's on the show now.
McCourty? No.
McCourty.
Yeah.
McCourty, outstanding safety. Then their linebackers. You look at, just name them. They had terrific linebackers. So
Coach
Vrabel.
Mm-hmm.
They had several. So hopefully what Christian Parker can do, just convince Jerry and Steven and Will McClay. Let's get some linebackers and safeties. Well, it'll make a huge difference.
You don't want to take a running back with that first pick, but if it's Love, you can.
Well, you'll take Love if he's there and everybody else that you want is gone, which is probably what's going to happen. But I don't think he's going to make it to 12. Yeah.
If he's there, you gotta take him. If he's there, you gotta take him. It's just no.
And that's the other thing they got to change. They need to just take the best player that's available. What they've done with their board, they have their board set up to where they think the guy they're taking is the best player, and other people looking at draft. Vice said this today, which is so true. Vice says he really haven't got a lot of drafts wrong. The Cowboys have. You could say the same thing about Will Steele, yourself, Jeff Kavanaugh. These drafts the last few years have been pretty easy to set up. The problem is the Cowboys are not doing that. Their board is just goofy. They have goofy stuff going on with their board.
They picked the wrong players.
That's because of their board. It's like there's no way you should have Mozzie and Schoonmaker on your board right there. That's just goofy.
No, shouldn't have that up there.
And some of the other players that they've drafted, the Josh Balls and all of these guys, man, it's so this year.
And then the mechanism of what they do don't be correct either. You shouldn't have traded up for a fifth for that linebacker, Brady James. I think it's not Brady James, but
Shamar James.
Shamar James. You shouldn't have done that.
And there were good running backs on the board that were there. All they had to do was just take them.
Y'all should have done that, man.
So let's go ahead and wrap.
Yeah, we're gonna. It's tomorrow is gonna be a good day for Cowboy
We get
Nation. We get to hear Christian Parker speak for the first time, and so we definitely gonna come back and do a reaction video to that and just break down and see if we can pick apart some of what he was
so
asked.
I'm gonna do something that I never do. I don't like listening to their press conferences. I'm gonna listen to the one tomorrow.
Yeah, it's must see TV to me. I'm gonna listen to it. We're gonna listen to it, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna listen to it, let it digest, and then we're gonna come back and give our thoughts about what was said and how Jerry acted, and if Shotty really presented CP and how that looked and what we learned from the press conference, and so we're gonna do that in a couple days. So it's been a good show. We're gonna start doing our mock drafts as well so soon. So y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. Y'all make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Right now, we live on Facebook and YouTube. But the video is going to be posted, chopped up, and posted and put on TikTok and everything else.
We went live on Twitter.
No, we weren't live on Twitter. But the link is still, but the video is still going to be on your Twitter, chopped up.
Oh, okay.
So the videos are going to be chopped up on Twitter, on Facebook, and on everything else. So y'all make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Appreciate you, Kels. Every time we come through, we love it. It's a blessing. And so y'all make sure y'all follow Kels too. She's a great.
She's a force to be reckoned with.
She's a force to be reckoned with. I'm gonna have to agree with that. And I have her link on the show right here. So you guys, all you have to do is click that link or copy it and paste it into your browser, and make sure you follow Kels and go check her out. Wealth of knowledge. She's great. So we appreciate everybody coming out, and we'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.